Seth wandered off to the circulation desk while I maneuvered to the table. Thanks for coming. It's always nice to see a good turnout. You're welcome. First time I've been to a reading. I don't get out as much as I should. Yeah, me neither. Then double things. It can be hard to compete with everything else out there to do, like video games and visual novels. What can I do for you? My friend is a big fan of yours. Could I get a signed copy of your latest book for him? Sure, it's part of the reason I'm here. Did you have something in mind for me to write? He's an aspiring author himself. Could you put in some words of encouragement? Of course, just tell him not to steal my audience. I have to eat too. He chuckled and jotted down a few inspirations. You douchebag. Your audience can be other people's audience. Doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, you know. And signing his name with a flourish. After I'd paid, I slid the book into my coat to keep it out of sight for a surprise. You know, now that I'm thinking about this could have a really bad effect. You told one of my favorite authors that I suck at writing? How dare you? Thanks again for coming. I got another reading later on in the month. I hope to see you and your friend here. I'll mention it to him. Thanks again. Back. Hopefully I didn't keep you waiting too long. Not at all. Shall we get going? Let's get that coffee. I don't drink coffee. Seth nodded, and the two of us ducked out the front door and into the street. I had to juggle the book a little to keep it a secret, but Seth was so engrossed in talking about the reading, it wasn't too difficult. Haha, what is this? Star Mutts? That would be awesome if Star Mutts. I can't see it. I'm trying to look through this, but I can't. Get it though? Star Mutts. I came up with that on the fly just now. The coffee shop was a nice little place, cozy and inviting. We settled into a table after grabbing a coffee, each and a scone. I've never had a scone. I can't relate to this. What a bad game. I barely had time to take the first bite when Seth produced a number of notebooks. My writings are a little scattered. Tend to just grab what I have handy to jot my thoughts down. You need a specific... I'll say this. Because you need to just keep a notebook with you in case you have an idea. I used to do that, but now I don't. Because I just stay home. I don't go nowhere, so I don't need to keep a notebook with me. I've just got my notebook right here. Like, I've got notes, I've got, like, rants about stuff. I've got a rap ideas. I've got stuff for the game that I'm making on this channel. I've got all kinds of crap in that notebook. I've got another notebook somewhere else that's full of even more stuff. But it's all in an order. You don't just grab what you have handy and jot your thoughts down. You need to have order. Otherwise, you forget what that thought was about. It's not your fault, but it happens to everybody. And I'm just telling any aspiring writers out there that this will help you out. Of course, you don't have to take it from me because I never have a plan for anything. I just start a story and then go until it's finished. I might have like a vague idea, but most of the time, my vague ideas will just freaking go down the tubes because I'll think of something better in the moment. I have to make things up as I go because otherwise it will never get done. Man, I sure am talking a lot about writing instead of reading and playing this game. Well, seems to be to me the first thing to do would be to get organized. Yeah. Got a bunch of bits and pieces, but have you considered what you want to do with them? I was thinking of maybe something involving the main, but I could also bring in a... Oh, so he's like mumbling. That sounds like a no. I'm only catching like a few thoughts. I just don't quite have my thoughts together. It's not as simple as that, you know? It actually kinda is. There has to be some... Seth, no is okay. No doesn't mean there isn't something to work with. It just means you don't yet have a direction. Wasn't that the reason you wanted to do this? Of course I'm right. What have I been telling you this entire time while not playing the game and actually talking to you as if you were real for some reason? Sorry, it's easy to get lost in my head, I suppose. Writing seems to be a really important thing for you. What got you started? Dude, I love writing. You wanna know what got me started on writing? Whenever I was little, my mother took me out of 4th grade, I think it was 4th grade, because they put me on Adderall and I skitzed like crazy, man. I was skitzing balls. And she took me out of school because they wanted to put me on Adderall, and she didn't like walking past my room and seeing me grinding my teeth like a crackhead just wanting to suck some penis for $2. And like every day she would make me write a new story. Just like 2-3 pages story. But, you know, that's what got me started in writing stories. Writing seems to be a really important thing for you. What got you started? But that's what got me started. Put in the comments what got you started if you're a writer. I enjoy talking about writing. I enjoy talking about ideas. Making things. Creativity. I love creativity. Too bad I'm bad at it. Because I'm more of a left brain guy. It really kind of sucks. I'm a left brain guy that wants to do right brain things. Reading mostly. Man, I keep just getting off on tangents. I've always been a little bookish, and well, I enjoyed so much of my time in other people's worlds that I wanted to make some of my own. Exactly. I'm not gonna get on another tangent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Seth. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do it again. Well, I can't actually promise that. I might get on another tangent since we're talking about one of my things here. I assume you aren't just a writer, since you're still working on a book. What else do you want to do with your time? Man, it is so hard to finish stuff. I've got like so many things that are started and not finished. And the reason I went to making everything into video games for the most part is because nobody wants to read anymore. But I still want to share the stories that I write. So I gotta make them with RPG Maker because I have no coding skills. I could probably learn pretty easily, but god dang it, I went off on another tangent. I'm not terribly fond of talking about it, just because it's embarrassing. Dude, I'm in rare form with my brain, and my ADHD is going crazy right now. Well, now you have to tell me. Come on, we'll play a drinking game where I ask a question and you ask a question. If it's easy, then you have to drink, but if it's hard, we both have to drink. I think that was what the rules were. I'm a trust fund kid. My parents have been fairly well off financially, and they set aside a sizable sum for me when I got older. That would explain why you're able to live in town. I was sort of brought along to the city with a remarriage when I was younger. I've also been pretty fortunate in that regard. For some reason I thought that was spelled wrong. Not to be too forward, but you don't seem terribly happy being idle. My work had eaten up quite a bit of my free time, so when that obligation vanished, I just felt kinda lost. I'm glad my little brother got me out of the house at least. He sounds like an equally interesting person. You wanna bang him? Is that what you're saying? You're here getting coffee with me, and you're thinking about Kobe. God, I knew it. I can never meet a nice guy. He's a character, but I love him. We went on for a bit longer, chatting about this or that until my coffee was gone, and we turned our attention to the pile of notes Seth had brought. I've got an idea. You're right in that I spend a little too much time in my own head. That's not a bad thing, man. It's only bad if you can't get what you're spending in your own head out on a paper. That's why it's good to have a sounding board. I am constantly babbling to everyone about everything. Maybe what I need is some structure. If you can't tell, I'm a babbler. I babble a lot. The fact that I can talk to myself and nobody else and just stare at the wall I'm sorry, Seth. I'm sorry. I am just staring at the wall right now. I'm not even looking at your beautiful blue eyes. I'm just gazing into the emptiness of the void and just letting things happen. Sounds good. What'd you have in mind then? Because I can't seem to settle on something. Why don't you tell me what I should write? Dude, no. No, 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 no. If you let somebody else dictate what you're gonna write, then you will be even more demoralized whenever you can't think of anything. I mean, if you're wanting to do something short, just as like an imagination exercise and an exercise in composition, I guess it's fine. But you don't want somebody dictating something long running that you're gonna work on. I mean, it's different if you have some ideas and you're like, which one of these should I work on? Which one do you think people would be more interested in at this moment? And then you go with that one. There's a difference between that. And even then, that might just tell you, hey, I want to work on this other one instead. It's just like the reason I flip coins for decisions. Like, if it doesn't come up what I want it to be, that means that I've made my decision, and that's what I wanted in the first place. Really? With all your talk of use as an inspiration? I think of it as an exercise. Okay, yeah. Okay. Maybe I should actually let him talk instead of starting with my bullcrap a little too soon. Think of it as an exercise. You give me a framework to build from, and I write the story. It'll give me a focus and keep me from wandering. Not true, but it depends on how long it is. I'll say that. Also, there's an L missing right here. Alright, I suppose that makes some sense. Why me, though? Because I'm hot? Because then we will both have some investment in the final piece. That will make it all the more likely you'll keep humoring me. Dude, I'll keep humoring you until I get that butthole, bro. Fair enough. Where should we start? At the beginning, what kind of genre should I write? I tend to like fantasy, sci-fi, and horror, but not straight up romance. There could be romance in any of these three genres, sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, and I'll enjoy it, but romance for just romance's sake? I mean, unless you're counting like adventure novels, the romance of adventure, you know? Romance didn't always technically mean like gonna get the girls and the guys together, kissy kissy face, and the drama therein that doesn't necessarily happen in real life, which I guess that makes romances fantasies in a way. But still, you get what I'm saying. Romance for romance's sake is boring. You can have a romantic story. You don't need to just put yourself into only romance. Because what if you decide you wanna add elves? Huh? What if you wanna decide you wanna add magic? And the magic enters into the romance, huh? Then it's not romance for romance's sake. Anyway, I'm gonna say romance. There's a reason I'm saying romance, is because I think Seth here would like that. And as we all know, dating sim visual novels is about getting results.